Call me Neoblade. This is the staircase step 3. And what we have learned so far. We have learned the A move.
By your will.
Straightforward, using a move over the minimap. If you skipped this training in the staircase step 1 and step 2, you should definitely do it. It's very important to be able to use a move. We learned to use a move and splitting one zealot to kill SCVs into the economy. I've shown it in the staircase step 2 on the map Arena. If you're not able to do this, you should definitely train it. And what you should have learned seeing Jack Attack's video is using Pull Micro. So you get an extra mileage out of your zealots. This is it for the first part. If you did not train these things using the Neo-MT Proberto, I strongly recommend you try training this stuff with the Neo-MT Proberto, because the next steps ahead will be more difficult than beating the Neo-MT Proberto on bronze and silver. See you guys in the next video. This is the next part, and you have to choose arcade because we will learn two-prong attack. And you will need 2 maps for this step. You have to find Daybreak, Neo-MT, and you have to find Neo-MT Proberto Frost. I explain why you need these 2 maps. If you create a game, you can choose very easy. You can choose economic focus. This terrain will do nothing if it's set to very easy. It will just sit in its base and you can A-move your zealots into this terrain. But the Protoss will attack you depending on what difficulty you choose. If you're new to the game, and I strongly recommend you start with medium or easy, if you choose elite, the Protoss will attack you quite heavily. And always choose economic focus. You should try to train this map using max minerals 800. It will be set to 1600 after a few minutes. It will double, so this setting will set it to 1000 in the first few minutes and to 2000 after a short while. And since your Protoss, max energy is not important for you. Proberto lives is how many Probertos you have to rescue. This is a short introduction for these 2 maps. You will see these 2 maps in later parts of this video, and we'll start with one replay. You should definitely train. Again, I reached Platinum 1 using the Staircase and LOTV Occo cycle. This interface is called Standard Enhanced. And you should definitely train the warp-in drill. And you should use -- no phoenix, so you do not have to micro those phoenixes. But it's up to you. You can, if you wanna have an additional multitasking challenge, you have to look out for, you can activate the phoenixes and fly around, lift probes, whatever you like. But I strongly recommend you start using training warp and drill, and 2-prong attacks. Search for cannon rush. My scouting for cannon rush is very bad, because the opponent will build a forge and I did not scout it, and he will build a cannon rush here. This is why you should train this map, because sometimes this AI will build a cannon rush, and it will, as you can see, it will expand a lot. And therefore, because this map will expand a lot, you can train multi-prong attacks on different bases. It's very easy to do so. So, since I did not scout this cannon rush correctly, my probes are dying, and I'm behind from this step further, or from this minute further. I opened with 2 gates, so I can train the warp and drill very early on. You can play Nexus first if you like, but remember, you have to scout your opponent using zealots. Scout the front, you will be attacked by a mothership core. If I did not have troubles defending the cannon rush, my mothership core, which is introduced in the staircase step 3, would have been there sooner, and so my income gets low again, and I lose additional probes. So you can see this multitasking trainer will challenge you. I set it on very hard. If you set it to elite, it will be even more difficult, and the opponent will build Immortals, it will build Void Rays, Colossus, and other heavy stuff. And third base in the 4-minute mark and before 5 minutes. He will attack you, he will scout you. I want to take the watchtowers, but he denies it. So if you like the training, you can try to get the watchtowers. And warp and drill is basically warp in, pylons, all zealots on a control group. But if you did not see the video, I strongly recommend you take a look at the warp and drill video. You can do, I strongly recommend, again, I like the word strongly recommend, that you only take 1 gas in the staircase step 3 for about 5 or 10 games, until you are comfortable building upgrades constantly. Since you do not build things like Colossus or Void Rays, you can use your gas, 1 gas, to build upgrades. It's not perfect because you cannot start the upgrades every time, but you will see, as long as your gas expands 500 then, or exceeds 500, you're doing something wrong, and you should try to stay below 500 gas all the time. Every time I warp in, I build a pylon. You can check it out here. My probe production is very bad in this game. Warp in and pylon, and I see the minimap. I built additional gates, and I use mass recall. You can do so and try to arrest your opponent. If you want to use mass recall, it's totally up to you, and it's totally fine to use it. But I think it's very heavy. It's very difficult, not very heavy. 2-prong attack in the early stages of the game, in the mid game, is totally fine. There you build his additional base. He's on 4 base at the 7-minute mark, and so you can do a first attack here, second attack here, and 2-prong attacks on those 2 bases. And there's the 2-prong, the first 2-prong attack. I attack this nexus, I attack the Nexus down there. And he has no trouble killing my Zealots. I tried to focus down the Nexus. I should have saved my Zealots. And since I have enough pylons, you can see my supply up here, I do not build pylons when I warp in. But if you wanna build pylons until you are at 200 supply, that's totally fine. Warp in 1 pylon and you will be at 200 supply sometimes. Normally you build 1 pylon per base, so I'm 3 base, I should build 3 pylons per warp in, but I have enough pylons already. The next 2-prong attack . You see your SQ here. You should try to get an SQ above 90 training using this map. But if it's 80, it's totally fine too. And in the TheStaircase step 3, you should try to reach your league goal. If it's platinum, you should try to get a platinum spending skill. So I do 2-prong attack. I'm attacking here, I'm attacking here. He does micro a little bit. And try to kill probes if you have the chance. So I die now to these Void Rays and his multi-prong attack. And yeah, I think you should have a basic understanding by now what is a warp-in drill. If not, please take a look at my video and the video of Jack Attack, and you should have a basic understanding of a 2-prong attack. And if you can kill probes using a 2-prong attack, please do so, or if you can kill workers. It's always nice to kill some workers. This is the map training warp-in drill and 2-prong attacks, and we'll see an additional map for War Prism Harass. Thank you very much, and I see you guys next time. This is the next part. It's called Warp Prism Harass, and you have 2 options. Which is more difficult is up to you. The first option is just to fly a warp prism in the enemy base, warp in some units, and let him attack. The second option is to fly near the enemy's base, fly near the enemy's base, fly around it. You should have scouted it first, and drop zealots into the mineral line. You can easily do this by using shift, and if the opponent attacks, you can easily load in the units into the warp prism. You cannot see it because it's a unit tester map. You can easily load them back into the warp prism and fly away. I think this is more difficult. I show it one more time. You have 2 options here. You just... I don't know why he's putting the zealots back in automatically. This is not right. And you can retreat them or just fly away with the warp prism. It's totally up to you. These are the 2 options. I will show a replay using the first harassment method, but it's totally up to you what you want to choose. See you in the next part. This is the next part. As you can see, I built stalkers, which should not matter in this game, because I want to show you the drop. The first and simple drop is using the warp prism just like a pylon in our opponent's main base, and I jump to it using a control key, I hope. No, I jump to it via minimap, but sometimes I do the warp prism on 0, but not in this game, I forgot about it, but jumping to it with cameras or the minimap is fine too. And he's dropping me, I'm dropping him. And since his army cannot be at home,
minerals already.
I go instantly in his
Your research is done. Don't forget the rest of them.
in his economy, and my zealots are killing quite a lot there. So I should have taken my warp prism, my mothership core into my main base. This is Metalopolis, a very old map, but it's a fun game. And yeah, there's the GG because he lost too many workers, and the worker count is 70 to 25. It's just for this is the most simple form using a warp prism at first, but we'll see more complicated right now. Please bear with me and please subscribe to my channel in the meantime, and there will be another part of dropping with warp prisms. This is the last part, and as you can see, I am flying with the Phoenix to my opponent. You get Phoenix on this map, Daybreak Neo-MT, but I've shown you the map before, and I like to pick up some probes with it to train my multitasking. I should build probes, I should build zealots using my hotkeys. I will show you my control groups, not my hotkeys. I always mix these two words up. Mix up, it's correct, I don't know. And there, now I scout the natural, and I will pick up some probes as well. You can see it here. But let me remind you, you should get a new SQ, a new league goal, and you can choose whatever you like, whatever suits your needs. I have chosen 875 for Terran, because my Terran mechanics are not very good. They're quite bad, to be honest. But if you wanna play in Diamond someday, I would suggest you choose 80 or 85. But 75 should be good as well if you're multitasking and your Warp Prism harass is very good. And we'll see the Warp Prism harass again here. I use a move over the minimap to scout for his third expansion, taking my third as well. I scout the front using those zealots, and I see, okay, he's building adepts and stalkers, and my warp prism should come into action any minute now. The first option, I've shown it on the unit tester map, is the more difficult one. I will show it here too. I use shift to expand the warp prism. I think it's called phase mode, and I have the warp prism on a control group, so I can jump to it more easily. I try to try to put my observers in places where I can watch the minimap more clearly. I will kill the Nexus, and there is the drop. I've seen the Oracle fly out, but we are focusing on killing probes. There is a Colossus, so Warp Prism drops are very good for scouting, and they're very good for distracting our opponent. And I have saved all my zealots. If that's too difficult for you, no problem. You should just let those zealots die. But if you are rescuing them, then you can continue this harass all the time. You should change a little bit the position, because if your opponent will build cannons here, your Warp Prism will die. But let's see how I use the Warp Prism again. My saturation is not that good, and I lost my 4th Nexus to his harass. I used the Phoenixes to kill the Oracle, and there's the next harass. Now I drop the zealots into the economy, and I am warping in some zealots because my warp gates weren't on cooldown. I could not warp in more, and I think there is his army, and I retreat for zealots again. Now I scout with this zealot, which you should do as well. I should really get my gates going. Closed gates cannot warp in nothing. And there's my next base. And I kill his base again, which is an important objective on this map. Deny enemy expansions. So this is the more easy option. I think I now will just sacrifice all zealots. I'm checking, okay, he has no more stuff here, and now I just retreat the Warp Prism. So I think you should have now a basic understanding how you use Warp Prism harass. And this is it for the Staircase Step 3. Please do all the steps I have shown you. A move over the minimap, 2-prong attacks, Warp Prism harass, and with 3-3 upgrades you should be in good shape. Thanks very much, and please subscribe to my channel.